No
We
puppies.
can't believe this is a show either. There we are. Hello.
A new set. We have lighting.
Yeah, we got kicked out of the kitchen. We couldn't stand the heat, and we got out of the kitchen.
No, someone said to me the kitchen looked like a bus depot. We were broadcasting live from a bus depot.
Okay, that's
I'm like,
nice.
okay,
That's
ouch.
nice for all the other shows
Ouch.
that use that kitchen
Jeez, the
set.
control room's laughing.
Hey, Bridget Leroy is not here at this performance. The part of Bridget Leroy played by Candace Bushnell, the
Yes,
amazing
hello.
Well, yay! Studio audience, come on. Yay.
Sex and the City, and she's got a one-woman show coming in just a few weeks out at Canoe Place in Hampton Bays. If you
Yes.
Canoe Place in.
Cute Place
Inn.
Inn and Cottages.
And cottages. Oh, I haven't seen any of the rooms. Have you?
Yes,
ventured?
it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's they did such a great job.
Yeah,
and
it's
they have
great. It used to be a
great
crack den, right? It
restaurants
used to be
and-
like a, it was
Well,
like,
I
it
wouldn't
was
say it
like
was
a,
a crack
well, it had
What-
run to ruin. It had run to, it
Yes,
had-
it was
It-
in.
Yes. Well, it was, but it was the oldest inn in America.
That's
Yeah.
what I heard. Yeah.
Yes, and then it
Stunning.
did burn down at some point, and they rebuilt it. But
now
it's
there's
fantastic.
electricity. It's great. And Candace is going to do her one-woman show. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. We're also going to get you to maybe do the weather for us today.
Okay.
Lucky,
Well,
the lucky
it's a little
gal.
humid, and
So
I think
she's a good
the rain
sport.
is coming, but that sounds
Also
perfect.
joining us in the hour, Bill Boggs has a new book out, and it's another one about Spike. This one is called Spike Unleashed, and it has a couple of famous people in it, including maybe somebody sitting at this around here.
could that
Not
be?
big. No, I don't think it's Bill.
Alert your lawyers, you may be
Oh,
in there
boy.
without
Well,
permission.
that would be fantastic. Although Bill and I are really meeting for the first time.
Really?
Well, yes.
Well, you're
well,
both
we,
New York
we might have
fixtures.
crossed at Studio 54
No.
a long time ago, but we're not sure.
He's claiming it never happened. We'll get his side of the story.
If I were going to say I didn't meet another Bill before, I would have said I'd never met Bill McCuddy before. Bill Boggs, I'd be like, oh man, I know Bill Boggs. He's cool. You know? Bill
Speaking
McCuddy.
of Bills, there was a little excitement of Bill Bouquet this week.
Oh,
in Sag
yes, there
Harbor.
was in page
According to
6.
yeah, so you know it
Well,
happened.
wait,
By the way, we
wait.
don't have the New York
Wait, there were
Post.
two things that happened. One,
Two.
there was fisticuffs
Yes, I heard about that.
between, and they said that they were ancient, but they were just in their 60s.
They were
It was
ancient.
like, oh,
well, that's ancient for
come
Bill
on.
Bouquet.
And then some kids threw a fish.
Last night they
Yeah.
threw what was
Yeah.
a striped bass.
It was Friday night. This is the week. No, it was Thursday night this
Thursday
week, and here we are in the weekend, and it's one of the top stories we're talking about.
But you know what? Those kids charged the table, $220 for the fish.
There was a 20-pound
Yeah.
striped bass,
Striped bass.
which for some reason they thought they needed to have on the menu. Wasn't on the menu, so they taught. Was it a prank? I didn't really follow.
I think it was just some local kids having fun with the crowd at Bill Bouquet.
This is how the revolution
Yes.
begins.
It-
This
well-
is how it starts.
It could be. I
A
don't know how
striped
they
bass
got
on the roof?
And then they
Yeah,
storm
that's-
City Hall and they take over.
Another big thing everyone's talking about is the Riptides this weekend. What camera are we going to? Bad Riptides. So they have extra lifeguards out on the beach this weekend.
And
Riptides.
speaking of the beach,
know.
Candace, how about doing the weather for us? Here, it's right
Okay,
here.
what,
Okay,
what do I
go.
have to do? Oh,
Well,
I just
you
read
just
it.
read it.
We have a really expensive green screen that you can go over to, and the bushes will be behind. I mean, the
Okay,
windows
I-
will be behind you.
I'm
Okay.
going to
That's
go.
Ravis.com.
I'm going.
Okay, she's
Be
game
careful
for
of the wires.
anything.
Yay!
Ooh, Carrie Bradshaw to the rescue.
Yes.
And there she is. And look,
Okay.
here's our first green
Where-
screen shot.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Wow!
Wow.
How do I
I'm so
turn?
easily impressed. Yeah, there's no map. Don't worry.
Oh,
We don't
okay.
have that kind of-
All right, so the weekend weather is brought to you by Douglas Elliman Real Estate and by the Melissa Cohen Group and with William
Ravis.
Ravis Mortgage.
Yeah.
More at ravis.com.
Nicely done. Now the
Okay,
weather.
Saturday, the high is going to be in the low to mid 80s, mostly sunny with humidity at 67%. Now the UV index is going to be a 9 out of 11.
Just
so
look-
that
look
means
over here.
be oh.
Right to me. Right to me. Don't look into the light.
I was guessing. Should I do the whole thing over again?
No, it's live. Keep going.
Okay.
Start again.
All right. Saturday, the high is going to be in the low to mid 80s, mostly sunny with humidity at 67%. The UV index is a 9 out of 11, so wear that sunscreen. Sun's up at 5:48 and sets at 8 p.m. Overnight low, 63. Sunday, the high will be in the low 80s, partly cloudy, humidity at 57%. UV index again a 9 out of 11. Sun's up at 5:49 and sets at 7:59. That's your weekend weather from Douglas Elliman and the Melissa Cohen Group with William Ravis Mortgage.
Yeah, all right, come back to home base here. That was tremendous. Our first green screen. I think what I love about that shot the most is that whoever got it shot about 8 seconds and then said, "Nah, I gotta go," because we had a jump behind you every time that changed.
This
But
is
that's-
this is big budget quality
Yes,
broadcasting.
it's quality. We can't believe
Yes.
this is a TV show either. Welcome to Weekend Live, the Hamptons Now. It's everything going on this weekend, but we have broken the rule for Candace Bushnell because she's going to be at Canoe Place on the 17th of August. And
Yes.
she's rushing off to, you're going to Europe tomorrow, right? Or this
I
weekend?
actually am. I'm going to Bodrum, Turkey,
Ooh.
What's going on there?
visiting a friend. And
Okay.
I'm going,
That's a
and
good place
I'm
to
going
visit.
with
Miranda?
my friend.
Samantha?
Well, I'm going with Nicole Miller. And
Oh,
since
the
she has
designer.
red hair, maybe we could say she's a Miranda. I mean, she really is not a Miranda. But
And you'll look for Samantha and try and talk to
Would-
her into coming back to the show, and she won't. So, but she'll text, and you'll text her. No, I won't.
Oh,
Exactly,
Don't go
and
there.
then-
Don't go there.
yeah, that's, it's too much. Everybody's out here, so.
It's become it's listen, you can't have imagined when you were going to Studio 54 and not bumping into Bill Boggs that this empire would have been built out of your column in the New York Observer.
You know, I didn't imagine it. No, I didn't. But it's been going on now for 25 years, which is incredible.
Has it really been 25 years?
Yes,
Wow.
well, I started writing the column in 1994.
That's when back in the day.
And then we shot the pilot in 1997. The book actually came out in 1996, shot the pilot in 97, and the show started airing in 98. So,
Wow. And the rest is history. I mean,
It's
and,
really,
it keeps
crazy.
and it keeps going. That's I mean, it must shock you that it's been this it's
Juggernaut.
a juggernaut, but it's a cultural phenomenon.
a cosmo-fueled juggernaut.
yes. Well, you have to remember, you know, as the author of Sex and the City, nothing shocks me.
Right.
I've seen it all. So,
And you're going to tell it all. So
Yes,
tell us
I
about the
tell it all.
one-woman show. Tell us about what gets spilled on stage.
well, the one woman show is basically how I created Sex in the City, how hard I worked to get there, why I invented Carrie Bradshaw, and what happened to me afterward. And it's storytelling and video, and we play a little game.
Oh, really?
Real or
Ooh.
not real, because everything that happens on the TV show is a little bit better or a little worse than my real life.
Than
And
something
there's
that it was based on or something that happened to you.
and there's some sexy stuff in there too.
Oh, wow.
So
Thank
it's
God.
a lot of fun.
Is there a lot of nudity in the show?
No.
It's Canoe
Oh,
Place.
bummer.
It's a family show.
No, when I first did it, they wanted me to wear a bathing suit, and
No.
for a little section of it, and I said no.
Well,
I
speaking
can't
of
do it.
When you first did it, it was a Broadway show.
Yes, we
and
did
then
it-
COVID happened, and it shut. Ostensibly, you were out of work.
Yes, well, it started off Broadway at the Daryl Roth
Right,
Theater,
like a lot of
which
things
was
do.
fantastic, and you know I had a lot of costume changes, and that was about an hour and a half, and now
So
it's
do we
about
have some costume changes at Canoe Place?
not really, but I do wear something very special and designer,
Oh,
a different
cool.
designer every time I do the show.
Oh, that's cool. Who are
And-
some of the
and the
designers you
Manolos.
wear? Can you tell us?
Well, I've worn Nicole Miller.
I was hoping you said that.
I've worn
she's not coming on the
Oscar de
trip
la
tomorrow.
Renta. I've worn some other designers that maybe aren't quite as well known, called Pat Bow, and it's a pretty long list.
Almost the way. What was her name? Pat Field, the woman that
Patricia
was,
Field,
Pat,
yeah.
yes,
Field
she was the costume designer.
costume, and
Yes.
that was also a phenomenon. That was a look the way Annie Hall created that kind of Diane Keaton look with
Oh,
the
absolutely.
hat and
Yes.
the tie and stuff.
Yes.
Patricia actually created kind of a world of tutus and crazy stuff that became like a phenomenon.
Yes, absolutely, and it was fantastic because she is New York in
Right.
so many ways. I think she was born in New York and grew up there and opened her shop. Actually, her shop was open, I think, in the 70s because I used to go there certainly in the late 70s and early 80s. It was on 8th Street. And I'll never forget because you had to be super cool to
Right.
go in there. It wasn't about being rich. It was just about being cool and somehow in the know. Like
Was she
you
kind of a
belonged
gatekeeper
there.
and who she let buy things, and what did she steer
Well,
certain people out of there? And
You know, it felt like they would steer you out.
Right.
I had to go back several times before I felt like I could buy something there.
Like
You
she
know,
didn't
you
kick
had
you
to
out and say,
kind
no,
of-
you're too geeky, get out of here.
Exactly. But you know, then as I got a little bit cooler, I could go and kind of hang out there.
And then
So-
cut to, let's say, 10, 15 years later, and you're walking down the street in Soho or Greenwich Village, and there are all these Carries. I mean, you're seeing the look
Yes,
of what
that's-
that show inspired. That must have been mind-blowing.
Well, it was interesting. It's interesting. You know, some people are like, you know, all those people are in front of the stoop. I mean, I've walked by that stoop so many times, and you know, people have no clue.
That was on Perry, the stoop's
was
on
on
Perry
Perry
Street.
Street,
Yeah, I
yes.
used to live on Perry back in the day.
Yes, but I've also been walking down the street, and people have said like, "Oh, Sex in the City. She looks just like someone out of Sex in the City." It's like, well, there might be a reason for that.
But the people who do know you from Sex and the City, do they think they know you better than they know you because they watched, you know, all seasons of the show and the movies and everything?
You know, I don't know the answer to that question. I really, I don't.
Sorry, I stumped you. I didn't
No,
mean to. That was
I
not my
know.
intention.
I
But
know,
you
it's
said
always-
there's definitely
like,
a difference between your life and what we see on television or what we saw in the movies.
Well, at the beginning,
It's inspired by.
No, it
Okay.
really wasn't inspired by. I was Carrie Bradshaw. I mean, Carrie Bradshaw was a character that, and I talk about this in the show, I created for certain reasons. And so I talk about this in the One Woman Show. And really, for the first, like, you know, 2 or 3 seasons, even beyond, there were a lot of similarities. Definitely things that mirrored my life.
There was a big.
There
There was
was,
a Mr. Big.
yes, there was a Mr. Big, and that's one of the stories that I tell in the show.
Oh, good.
Is the
Cool.
story of the real Mr. Big.
Ooh.
Is he,
And
are you
what
still in
really
contact?
happened.
I was just gonna say, is he
talk?
still
Yes,
around?
yes.
Oh,
Well,
good.
he lives in Vermont, but I somehow talk to him every 6 months. He gives me a call. He's pretty much the same,
Except for in
Uh,
Vermont, he now wears
but he's in
flannel.
Vermont and he rides horses.
There weren't any guys after that said, "Oh, that's me," and so there were like 4 guys going around saying they were Mr. Big.
No, I
Okay.
mean there was really only one. You know, there was only one Mr. Big.
Okay.
And did I write about the other ones? Vaguely. I've written about other people who I lived with, who I was with.
Did you like all the actors that ended up playing Carrie's love interests?
You know, I didn't really know most of them. I mean, there wasn't like a ton of interaction, but I did know the guy John Corbett who played
Right.
Aiden.
Oh, over.
So I went on a date with him.
Oh, really?
Yes, I actually went on
Mr.
it.
Bo Derek.
Yeah.
Yes,
he
and
lives with Bo
before he
Derek.
was married to Bo Derek, and it was funny because my mother loved the character of Mr. Big, and she, for some reason, did not like the character of Aiden. So she was
Interesting.
so she was always saying like, you know, can't you get rid of that Aiden character? And I was like, Mom, it doesn't have anything to do with me. So then when I went to dinner with him, all I was thinking was like, God, what if like something happens and I brought this guy home? My mother would be like, no, get him out of here.
He's too Aiden.
Because she
He's
knows
too
him.
Aiden.
He's too
Because she knows him.
Hey, stick around, will you, for a couple segments and have you're a great co-host. We'd love to have you stay for a minute.
Sure.
You're
And we'll
not
talk
that
more
would
long.
about
be
Canoe
great.
Place Inn and the One Woman Show at Canoe Place Inn.
August 17th, we will
17th.
mention that, and I
Yes.
want to say before we leave the topic that they're devoting the entire space there for the weekend around the 17th, and you can grab your own Miranda and Samantha and Carrie and go. You'll get a Cosmo when you arrive. It's a whole package they're doing, so they've really made an effort to like sort of roll out what color carpet would be for Carrie. I guess the red
Pink.
carpet.
I'll look,
Maybe
and then
pink.
you can get
The
tickets
pink
on your
carpet.
website,
And here we're looking at
Yes.
the website as well.
CandiceBushnell.com.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love they're
Look,
giving
yours-
out Cosmos at the. I think that's so great.
Oh,
And you're as big as the Empire State Building. You're that
Well,
important. That's
it's-
crazy.
You could go in front of the green screen and sort of talk to yourself if you want. You know?
You did this at the Cafe Carlisle on Madison, and that was after COVID, right?
Yes.
Right.
So I've done it at the Cafe Carlisle twice. I did it in it's 20. I did it a couple of months ago, and I did it in 2022. And then I'm going to South Africa.
I was just gonna say, I'm looking
going
at
to
South
Palm
Africa.
Beach.
Wow.
I'm
So
going
this is
to
becoming a tour.
Hartford.
This is
Chicago.
Yes, Chicago. So I'm actually.
There's going to be sex in all those cities. There's going
Yes.
to be in.
So Sex and the City is in South Africa is a big deal, I guess, because you're doing a ton of dates in South Africa, I see. So that's cool.
Yes, it is. I've never been to South Africa,
Just
so
gonna
I'm
say.
looking forward to it. Although it feels like it's coming up very quickly.
Going on a safari while you're down there? Kruger or something cool like that?
Probably not, because I
Ah.
feel like I'm going to be working.
Working.
You know, I'll be doing publicity or I'll be doing the show, and I'm probably going to be tired too.
You have your hands full, I bet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
yeah,
And I
So-
guess with the game, and then we'll move on because we've got other stuff to talk about. But I guess with the game and stuff, the show's a little different every night. It's sort of organic and evolved.
Yes, it is. It is. I mean, it's definitely, there's a lot of audience participation, and it's really fun.
Oh, cool.
I've gotten such a great response to it. So
I'm buying tickets right now.
Have all the leads-
fantastic.
Have all the stars seen it? Have all the?
Kim Cattrall's seen it.
Oh, okay.
She saw it at the Carlisle.
Oh, very, very cool. Well, maybe Sarah will drop by on the 17th. Maybe if Cynthia Nixon is out here, maybe on the 17th they'll all come to
You
Kindred Place.
never know. You never know.
Wouldn't that be mind
That'd be
blowing?
cool.
Yeah, that's a
Yes.
story.
Good fodder for page 6.
There we
Better
go.
than fish being thrown over the roof at Bill Bouquet.
Yes.
Free sushi, boom. We've got a lot of show to talk about. We're going to talk with Melissa Cohen, and we're going to do some. We're also
James
going to talk
Payton of
about
Corcoran and real estate.
famous tag sales, including
are.
Martha Stewart's. And we have a tie into Martha with Bill Boggs, who, as I mentioned, wrote Spike Unleashed. I think is Martha in Spike Unleashed?
No.
Okay, well
She's not in it.
that'll be the next book. And
Oh, well, I have
Bill
great
joins us
gossip.
in a
This is
moment.
good Martha gossip. Vince, who's going to be on Manzo, who knows Martha well, he helps her with her Great American Yard Sale or tag sale, I think it's called.
Right.
He said she wants to come back to the Hamptons. Cool. You heard it here first, folks.
Wow.
Martha
'Cause
wants
she
to
was
come back.
on.
Fantastic.
She was on Lily Pond. She was on over by the Goose Creek. She was.
Yeah.
She had a couple of different
Wayne's got
places.
another.
and
She wants to move to
Football.
Swamp Road this time. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. I'm just making that up.
Only in the Hamptons can you buy a $5 million fixer-upper on something called Swamp Road.
Isn't that, that's the Hamptons?
Yeah.
Speaking of Hamptons in real estate, can we see some of the open houses that are this
Yeah,
weekend?
let's take a look at what's
And,
happening. Actually, should we, and we can throw them up on the green screen.
Oh,
Maybe
wow, and we can
actually
walk
go
in
to
the open
we can
houses.
to
Go
the
ahead,
open
Bill, you
houses.
go do the
All
green
right.
screen.
Fantastic.
Will you hang with me? There we go. Ah, 98 Hedges
Wow.
Lane, Amagansett, Norfolk Drive, 225 Old Montauk Highway, 115 Franklin Avenue in Sag Harbor. Can we see some of the houses now?
Yeah, I want to go in the house.
Bill, your face is
I wanna-
covered by the weekend live.
Oh, okay.
It's
Like-
not
Can I
jump in the
easy,
pool?
Bill.
No.
It's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah, I know.
Doing
I'm-
green screen.
I'm not mowing that.
Keep going, keep going, let's go.
That's too much lawn. Okay.
So,
Spring-
37, that's in the Springs, that's a great area.
Oh, that's
I love
kinda cool.
River
Looks
Drive.
like a
They have
drive-in.
water at the end of the block there. which is
It looks
really
like somebody
nice.
on roller skates is going to come out and take your order.
Oh, it does look a little like that.
That'll help sell it.
And next one. This is actually just
Oh my
Newton's
God.
Market, 225 Old Montauk Highway.
Oh, that's cool.
You can live near, I think Gwyneth lives on Old Montauk Highway. I don't know which Gwyneth I'm talking about, but I can see it's there. And 115 Franklin Avenue. This is a really cool house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Great location in the village of Sag Harbor. Sag Harbor is hot.
the gate.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. You open the gate, Bill. Let's see if that works. Go ahead, try to open the gate. Let's see. Keep going, Candace. Let's see how coordinated he is.
This is hard.
Okay, keep going. You almost at the gate. You almost at the gate. Keep going, keep going. All right, now open it up, Bill. There you go. Yay!
No, wait, I know it. It's stuck.
It's-
stuck.
oh, you can't get a CO in Sag Harbor if the gate's
All
stuck.
right, here we go.
No certificate of
That's
occupancy
true.
for you. Anyway, we're here to talk. What?
Introduce us to who was.
Today
joining
we
the
have
Real Estate
Melissa
Roundtable.
Cohn from William Ravis Mortgage, Ravis Home Loans, and we have James Payton of the Corcoran Group, two big muckety mucks in the world of real estate here on the east end of Long Island, better known as the Hamptons. So
Welcome.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
love having you guys here.
No, I'm so excited to be here. I've been a fan of the show, and
Stop it.
I did.
think you're confusing
James
it with
did.
another.
James
I-
said.
I did.
I said, "Are you really watching this show?"
I am. I like the old set. The set's even better. The old one had some panache and mixed up a lot of online
Panache is a good word.
shows that we've had before.
We moved from the kitchen to the
Right.
den, and apparently there's a piano someone plays.
No,
So
no.
that's
And
great.
you don't
Next
get
time you'll
anything
do it
unless you
around
have
the
a
piano.
Yes, we'll have it. It'll be the musical version, but we'll save that for sweeps week.
Did you ever write about real estate in the Sex and the City column?
Not in the Sex and the City column, but I wrote a book called One Fifth Avenue. That was about One Fifth Avenue and real estate and real estate's a very interesting topic because people are really emotionally attached and wrapped up in their real estate. I mean, maybe not out here because, people just
especially
park
out
their
here.
money.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
They're
Absolutely.
just parking their money in those big houses.
Unless it's a
But-
family house that they've grown up with, like on Drew Lane or someplace that.
There are a lot of those actually.
It's like a compound and has a lot of memories.
I
but-
think you have a lot of everything out here. That's the great part about it. for
Right.
sure.
Well, one thing, James, you and I was mentioning to James.
Except no $500,000 houses.
Yeah, except for there's no $500,000.
No.
Is
Nor
there
pieces of
even
land anymore either. Yeah.
There's really nothing under 2 million. I look on Zillow every day.
Well, I think
Just to check.
I think our average price now is close to $3 million, for homes.
Right.
And that lower end of the market really has been exponentially, overpriced because there's nothing else out there. So it's really been pushed up anything under $4 million.
Well,
For sure.
we're coming into a thing now. Universally, I think everyone's accepted this rental season was not. Although, why was it so crowded out here? If no one was renting, why was it so
Yeah,
crowded
everyone's
this year?
in Europe, but you can't drive 10 feet in Sag Harbor. Right?
I
Anyway.
know, like
Well, a lot of homes really were rented too. I mean, you had a lot of inventory on the market, right? People bought homes
True.
over the last 3-4 years. So still there was a tremendous amount of homes that were rented and at very good prices. And there were a lot of deals that were done in June and early July just for August as well. So I think that just an increased inventory on the rental side is actually the exact opposite we're seeing in the sales side. And then we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, I think another thing going on with rentals right now is some people are getting tax bills for the hotel tax from Suffolk County of 5%, and they're sort of being blindsided.
When did that start?
It just they
Wow.
started actually it broke by Newsday back in early June that they're using AI to peruse websites and columns about people who rent, and then they're getting these tax bills out of the blue. Do you think that's going to have an impact on us out here?
I think it will be certainly for people that are paying their tax bills, absolutely. I think it's gonna have a big impact.
Well, it'll also, people will want to get more in rent in order to be able to cover the tax, or they try to pass the tax on to their tenants. It'll just
I
add
have
a
a
whole
feeling
other
it might be coming
layer.
out of the commission in the end.
And then
if they
also
see it
out of the
there,
broker
but-
side.
But,
This smells a lot to me like Airbnb fueled, or the Airbnb trend is one of the reasons that they're trying to add this tax on. Is that legitimate at all?
You're the broker, not me.
Well, let's raise money where we can, right, and see who pays. To be quite honest, there's lots of credit agencies that make a great return, basically just by hounding people on the phone. So they may be able to get a greater percentage by doing that, and we'll see how it plays
It's
out.
Yet another tax out here in the Hamptons. The Peconic transfer tax got increased this year. We have the mansion tax, there's the mortgage
The
tax.
affordable,
Yeah.
the extra 0.05% for the affordable housing.
Right, the price of entry is actually pretty high out here. And so to say if you're gonna rent your property and have to pay that 5% tax,
But those things seem to get absorbed out here. The Peconic Land Trust seems to get absorbed out here. The interest rates seem to get absorbed out here. These are secondary homes. However, the play to really carry your house and have to pay with the rent is now becoming a problem.
It is a problem.
Yeah.
So what is going on with mortgage rates since
Nothing good
last
at the
week?
moment.
Nothing good.
So
Well,
we're in the first week of August, and some people really do have their house finally rented, but they got some bad news this week in the
well,
interest?
so we had a couple things. First of all, on Wednesday, the ADP Advanced Jobs Report came out saying that there would be 320,000 new jobs created in this country in July, when the market was looking for 190,000. And then 5 minutes later, Fitch announces that they're downgraded the U.S. credit from AAA to AA+, and they downgraded Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac as well. And as a result, bond yields just soared. The 10-year Treasury, which is a base index for mortgage rates, climbed over 4% for the first time in a long time, and the bond yield yesterday was as high as it's been since last November, which means mortgage rates are as high as they've been since last November. And the average rate, if you don't have great credit and you're making a 20% down payment, I'm seeing rates that are being quoted in the mid-sevens.
Where
and
they
ra-
were in twos like a year
They
ago.
were, 2 years ago, the rates were in the twos. 18 months ago, the rates were in the twos. If you think about it, the Fed started hiking rates in March of 2022, and interest rates have gone basically from a 3% 30-year fixed to call it a 7.5% 30-year fixed in that time frame. And the Fed raised rates again, as we know. But at some point, this will slow the economy down. Not here in the Hamptons.
Not at all.
But, and mortgage rates will come back down. So when I'm talking to new buyers today, it's a question of making sure they understand that this is going to be a temporary situation and they'll end up refinancing in the next 12 to 24 months.
Well, and it certainly has slowed down our business as well, merely for the fact that we don't have many first-time home buyers, certainly.
No.
But we do have people that are locked in at much lower rates, and if they're deciding to sell, it's really a weighing of, well, what do I replace it with? And what is my mortgage gonna be? It might be double, might be
Right,
triple.
The golden handcuffs,
What I-
we
what I
could
might have
say.
been doing.
Right, and
Sure.
the real question, and people have been asking, and I've actually been quoted in a couple articles, is at what interest rate will the real estate market really get back into gear? And I say it's 5.5%. In order to really bring it back, I think with now rates as high as they are today, that once we get to 6, we'll see a certain burst of activity because people want to transact, they want to sell, they want to buy. But at some point, when you just watch rates go up every day, it's just hard to make that move, especially if you have a lower rate right now.
So at the other end of that spectrum, what's the number at which everything comes to a dead halt?
8%.
It is 8. I was
I
gonna
think
say
it's
10 or
8%.
11, but
Well,
you think it's 8?
If you think about it, when I started in business years ago, I was selling 1-year adjustables at 16% and people were buying. Then it was if rates got to 12, if they got to 10, if they got to 8. I think the problem we have is that we've been in a very low rate environment for the past 20 years. 20 years ago, we had adjustable rates in the 2s and the 3s. And that, I think getting to that 8% is just psychologically a level that too many people who are adults today can't really see past. They don't really care that our parents, paid interest rates of 10 and 12%. They've seen what they've seen for the past 20, 25 years. And, to them, rates are just as high as they've ever been in their lifetime.
Well, so put on your Swami Karnak the Magnificent hat. When do you see we start seeing settling and then eventually reductions in the interest rate?
I think that we'll hopefully see rates start to settle down really settle down by November.
Right.
People have been spending so much money this summer. They're traveling. They're trying to get a reservation at a restaurant out here. Try to go anywhere out here.
Speedway is open all night. I looked on OpenTable.com.
Oh, good.
The hot
Now I
dogs
know
are
where I'll go
fabulous, and
tonight.
there's no corkage fee.
And now
But-
there's free sushi at Bilderberg that just drops in out of the sky.
Perfect. But I think that once people go back to school at the end of the summer, credit card debt is at record highs. People are running out of their savings, and hopefully people will go back home in the fall.
Ixnay, I told you not to bring that up.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, before you go, one quick question. Did you both watch Sex and the City? And how much was Carrie Bradshaw's, how much would that apartment go for today? How much as a rental would that thing be worth?
It's
Where was
interesting.
that again?
It was on the
Dennis?
Upper West Side, or no? It was
No,
on
Perry
it
Perry
was
Street
Street.
in the
supposed
village,
to.
right?
No, it was actually supposed to be on the Upper East Side.
Oh, it was. Oh.
Yes, but it seemed like it was
It looked
downtown.
villagey.
But-
Was
Yeah,
it
looked
two-bedroom?
downtown. No, it was
No,
one.
it was.
a-
It was really supposed
it
to
was
be
an
a
efficiency.
studio with a large closet, I think. But
It was an alcove, right? I mean, it had the bed was over here
Yes,
and there was a living
but
area.
it's so hard to say because it's a set.
No, I
it's a
know.
set-
but-
It's
So
worth
it's
$1.5 million,
built-
Bill.
you know,
Let's let
yeah.
it go. It's $1.5 million.
You
We
know what?
understand it
No.
was free.
one way.
I
But you know what?
say-
It has high monthly, so it's sitting on the
No,
market.
I would
So-
say, first of all, it was a walk-up. So it was probably, like, the prices on the Upper East Side are not that high.
Uh-huh.
So it's probably, that apartment would be $750,000.
Okay, to buy and to
To buy.
rent something like
And
4,000,
to rent,
4,500.
it
I
could
think we're
be,
well
you
spent on
know,
What do you
3
think the
or 4.
monthlies are, Candace?
Yeah. what- And at what percentage will you not finance again? All right.
Oh, before we go, I just want to say one thing. James is we had Iris Dankner on last week talking about the Holiday
great.
House Hamptons. And James is actually, you were one of the listing agents on the Holiday Hamptons house.
We do. Iris has done an amazing job there. You
How's the
have had it.
reception been? I mean, I was
been
there the
great.
other night. We have some pictures if we want to.
Absolutely. I think we've had close to 1,000 people through the door.
1,000
Wow.
people.
We did. Iris has done an amazing job with 20 different designers. They completely designed the house head to toe. It's a brand new home, just been completed by master builder Matt Pentoffel out here. It's actually on the market for sale for $13 million.
No, we,
And
public TV, we're not supposed to mention.
Oh, we're
price,
not supposed to
but
mention
that's
tax.
okay.
Oh,
apologies. And
Do people go, I want it just as it is? I like all this furniture in the,
yeah, some do. Some do like the lighting and the wall coverings, and it's pretty wild. It definitely comes true. We're there till the end of the month, and mention my name. I'd be glad to take you for a tour.
cool, awesome, James.
Absolutely.
Hey, can go tickets online or can they buy at the door?
They can buy them at the door.
And it is 279 Mitchell Lane, right across from the
279
Hampton
Mitchell Lane.
Classic.
Absolutely.
Are you guys going to be open during the
Yes.
Classic?
We are there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday up until the Classic. So we're going to be closing down until then.
Mitchell Lane, as we like to say, is, I can't believe it's not Butter Lane, because it looks exactly like it, but it's like two
I love that
streets over.
joke.
Okay.
I love it. I laugh every time you say it, though.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
You guys,
Thanks for having us on.
oh, you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Yay for our studio audience. Hey,
Wait, does you want to read the weather?
Sure.
give James the
Okay.
weather.
All right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Go,
We'll
you
put
gotta
Give
go to the
James a
green
go. I
screen.
can
Go
tell
to
you
the
how to do
green
it,
Melissa,
James.
goodbye.
We'll put your
Look
holiday-
at the camera.
Put the Holiday
That's
House.
it. That will help.
Oh, we can do it in Holiday House.
can
Yeah,
sit
why don't we
in
have them do it in
Holiday
Holiday
House.
House? There we go.
Hey, if you're just joining us, this is Weekend Live at the Hamptons now. We don't rehearse. You can tell. This
Oh,
is
wait,
the-
go. Oh, wait. All right, James.
Here we go.
Weekend Weather is brought to you by Douglas Elliman Real Estate
Oh,
and
no, we shouldn't have said that. It's brought to you by Corcoran today.
today. Weekend Weather is brought to you today by Corcoran Real Estate and by the Melissa Cohen Group with William Ravis Mortgage. More at williamravis.com. Saturday will be high to low in the mid-80s, mostly sunny with humidity at 67%. The UV index 9 out of 11. Sun's up at 5:48 and sets at 8 p.m. Overnight low of 63 degrees. Sunday, high in the low 80s, partly cloudy and humid, 57%. UV index again, 9 out of 11. Sun's up at 5:49 and sets at 7:59 p.m.
camera.
There's the camera. That's your weekend weather from Corcoran and the Melissa Cohen Group with William Ravis Mortgage.
And we are thrilled that Candace.
Oh, my goodness. I'm saying goodbye.
Candace-
Thanks for hanging out with us. That was
Yes,
so
it was
cool.
so
She's
much
off to
fun.
South Africa or Hungary or something.
Right now I'm off
Turkey.
to Sag Harbor.
Go
and
see
Bill
her.
is telling me all of his secrets. I can't wait to read his book. He just told
The
me
sex
something
bit.
so juicy in here.
Have a seat,
There's
Bill.
an invention in the
Uh,
book called the sex bit.
We're all coming to see Candace
Oh, I
on
took-
August 17th at Canoe Place. More information at canoeplace.com
Or CandaceBushnell.com.
or CandaceBushnell.com. And thank you for joining us today, Candace. That was amazing.
That was awesome. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
So here's Bill Boggs, another New York icon, and as you said earlier, someone that, along with Candace, would occasionally drop into Studio 50.
I was there opening night, Studio 54.
What's that, Jason?
other seat?
Oh, sit in the other seat. Who?
can't see it.
He'll play the camera, I promise. There he
There he
goes.
What
goes.
would you like me to do?
that seat over
there.
So if you sit.
Oh, okay,
Is
so
this
there.
over? Am I
Yeah.
finished now?
Yeah.
Thank you for being a guest on the show. Bill.
Was that it?
to see you, so you need to sit in this seat.
Bushnell
So I
bumped you,
can
buddy.
look at-
All the way over here?
Yes, please, thank you.
Okay, I'll make the journey.
Make the journey.
Hey, it was great being with you guys.
We'll both grow as
You know
people.
what? We
I'm
love
really
it.
Hey, this is live. It's
And we prove it every week.
Every week,
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go.
I have a compliment,
Oh,
and I mean
please.
this, it's the last actually serious thing I'm gonna say.
Okay.
This show is more naturally relaxed and more authentic than any of the network morning shows.
Oh, thank you.
we'll do that to
It
you.
is
I was
naturally
just gonna say we all
relaxed.
take Klonopin right before we go on the air, but other than
You
that-
have any with you?
Now the director says you can sit wherever you want.
Are you
Oh, yeah.
holding? No, that's all right,
No, this is
I'm
great.
here.
Look
I-
at you.
I'm there
It's
in.
such a nice thing to say, and
that
I'm
is
like,
the
truth.
and I've been a fan of yours for in the Wayback Machine. For,
More of that. Let's
No,
have more
but
of that.
you were in Philly at one point, right?
Well, when I was born, yes.
No, but I remember you watching you in Philly. I
That
think
was
you were
on
on
TV?
KYW.
I started my career in Channel 10, WCAU,
I
and
was
then
an intern
KYW.
and a production assistant there. Damn it.
That's well before my time.
Yeah.
Hey, warn the affiliates, we may go over. It's Boggs for the hour, ladies and gentlemen.
Are we gonna
He's
miss
got-
the hard breaks? You
He's
know?
got, yeah, he's got a new book called Spike Unleashed.
Oh,
and,
how nice of you to mention it.
and it's
I've been plugging it
a
relentlessly.
follow-up to one that you did, what, about 2 years ago?
Three years
Spike the
ago.
Wonder Dog.
The Adventures of Spike the Wonder Dog. This is not for your 7-year-old's birthday party. This is R-rated raunchy comedy in the new genre of raunchy dog stories, as Strays will be coming out. And Spike narrates a story, and this is social satire, and I started my career as a comedy writer, and this is written, honestly, to try to make you laugh. Exactly.
Terrific.
Not laugh at me, I mean, laugh at what's in the book.
Now, the show is called Weekend Live, and it's about what's happening this weekend. If you're watching on Saturday, Bill is going to be at the East Hampton Library, along with a very gifted moderator
Yes.
and questioner.
Is that you?
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, he's so modest.
And that's at, when are you doing that, 2 o'clock?
We're doing it 2 o'clock at the beautiful East Hampton Library. What a building, what an institution.
Yeah, it's
And
beautiful.
and now adding you to that as the interviewer?
How much are they paying the audience,
I'm a
Bill, to
stunned
watch
Joe.
Bill?
Well, I'm on a retainer for Bill. It's pretty easy to work, you know. But anyway, 2 o'clock, we're gonna talk about writing. If you're interested in writing a book, I have actual tips. Believe me, if I could do it, virtually anybody could. And the whole Spike franchise, which it's all been short-circuited because of the writer's strike and the actor's strike. The goal is to sell both books as a cartoon series. And when we do that, one of those houses that we just saw out there,
Yeah.
sold!
I'll give you my card, Bill, because
You're-
in addition to TV, we're real estate junkies out here.
You're also going to be part of Authors Night, which is coming up in a couple
Yeah,
weeks.
that's
very close
next
to the East
Saturday,
Hampton Library,
right?
the
Right.
following
I'm gonna
Saturday.
be there, I'll be there by myself, but in the chair next to me, I'm gonna have Stewie Griffin, from Family Guy.
Oh, cool.
I have a Stewie doll. I live alone, and so Stewie and I have a lot of conversations. And he's going to be in a chair next to me because actually, Family Guy, I've seen every episode of Family Guy, is one of the things that inspired me to say, I can do that. I can write The Adventures of Spike the Wonder Dog. I can write Spike.
Even in
Lee.
these politically correct times, if you have a character that you can put whatever you want to, I think people are like The Simpsons, like you mentioned Strays, which is the Will Ferrell.
Yeah, explain
Jamie
what
Foxx
explain what
movie.
Strays is.
Yeah, explain, Bill.
It's a Disney-esque kind of animated movie that's R-rated, and it's very much in the same genre as Spike, and they say whatever they want. And Will and Jamie are the voices, and it's supposed to be very raunchy and very funny, but looks just like Homeward Bound or one of those Disney, the dogs trying to get back to their master stories. And this dog and this master started in North Carolina.
Yeah, well, the dog becomes a TV star. His owner, that's politically incorrect right there. His master, oops, sorry.
His dad.
That's also wrong. His owner is Bud, who's a talk show host like me. And they both come to New York and they become major stars, but they go back to North Carolina because they just didn't like the phoniness of doing a show in New York, and they want to buy the station. And so that sets a series of adventures up. From the first book, James, I Got Money, Piles comes back to seek revenge on Spike. So this is a more heavily plotted book than the first book. For me, it's just designed to make you laugh. I'm talking about social satire. I mean, that's really what I'm trying to do. Look at you. Spike is narrating the story, and as Bill Maher, name dropping, said to me, "You can say anything if the dog is saying it." And so,
Well, and ask about who's in this book. And a third of the story takes place in the Hamptons.
yes, it's divided into 3 places where I live, which would be Manhattan, Palm Beach, and East Hampton. Although it starts in High Point, where they have a TV show where I actually started my career in High Point. So
And had a real dog like Spike.
I had a real dog called Spike the Wonder Dog who got way more mail than I did, and the dog was killed just before I came to New York to do Midday Live in 1975, and it was a horrible day. And so where I had the idea for the book 6-7 years ago, the original first book was, what if in today's world, Spike the Wonder Dog hadn't gotten killed and came to New York in today's world with a guy like me, who likes to have a lot of fun, smoke a little pot, is looking at women, and they became huge stars. And so that is a germinating essence of the book, right there.
And
What a great legacy for the original Spike.
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's wonderful.
lots of Hamptonites that are also name droppers are not dropping
Well, you
names.
should talk about the play.
Brooke Shield, all right, yes.
Here's
Bill
the thing,
McCuddy has
but-
a very brief 2-page or
Yeah, go
3-page
ahead. No,
entry.
you're in there for fun. Bill McCuddy is in the book as himself, as an
Buy
author.
it anyway, please buy the book.
As an
anyway.
author who's written a book called written a play at Guildhall called Pardon My Privet. Doesn't that sound like something that they would put on?
It sounds like something at Guildhall.
I'm
Pardon
working
My
on it right
Privet.
now. I've
And it
decided
said
to do
manners.
it.
Go ahead, Bill.
I've decided to do it. Jimmy Fallon is in this thing, Brooke Shields is mentioned. Who are some of the other famous names?
Well, we got Bill Maher.
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher is in there. I don't. It's stuff off the top of my head. I
Yeah,
wrote the book.
It's a
I
ton
don't
of them.
memorize this stuff.
By the way, talked about this weekend in Richard Johnson's Sunday Daily News column.
Really?
In fact, all of those famous
How does that
people
stuff
mentioned.
happen? I don't know.
So yes, I
How
saw it.
does that happen?
I've seen
Anyway,
it.
so Bill McCuddy is in there, and you have written this play called Pardon My Privet, and Spike is in it playing the dog, whose sole mission is to try to kill the neighbor's privet by pissing on it. And also, all Spike has to do is follow the cues, get up and leave, and then come back. But they get kidnapped before that, and they never make opening night. So all you want to do is plug Pardon My Privet. You don't care what happens to them.
It sounds like
It's Spike Unleashed.
that's my role on this show. Are you kidding? That's all we do with plug stuff.
And I'm the third tier guy, like on that Fox morning show. I just sit there and nod and go, ha ha.
We talk over each other.
Oh, but you were laughing for real. Like, sometimes you listen to radio, talk radio, and they're just going on, cackling and babbling, saying anything,
Right.
and they laugh. There is an authenticity. The thing that most annoys me, well, one of the things that annoys me, and I tackle stuff like this in the book, are truly inauthentic performers on television who are just turning it in. I'll give you an example. We were talking about it today. The interview that Oprah Winfrey did with Meghan and Harry
Right.
on her estate. They have been there for hours. Makeup, hair, crew, everything like that.
Right.
This is how the show starts. And they've known Oprah for years. Oprah comes walking out. Ready? Oh, you got, all right. Ha! Ha! What the hell?
The royal
is that?
couple.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, Oprah.
Yeah.
Be authentic. Walk out, say hello, I'm really glad. But ha! Where does that get you? And it's like in the book,
He didn't eat for a week, I just read.
I don't know.
Is this, yeah.
He didn't eat? Where did you read
He
that?
fasted for the week to look good. I guess Megan talked him into that. Hey, Bill, come on over here. Sit now here.
Is
and
he
let's-
allowed to sit there,
Let's
Jason?
promote him to co-host for the rest. Can you stick around for the rest of the hour?
What do you need? What do you need?
We need Bridget, Leroy, and you. We got you
Yeah, you're
now.
the new
Bridget
Bridget.
here?
Yeah.
No, Bridget is, I think she's off yogging or
Candace
something.
Bushnell, if you just joined us, escaped. She felt it had turned into a hostage situation, and we are holding her here against her will. She's going to be at Canoe Place on August 17th, and
great.
we're going to go see her.
And
A
I'm
night
not
of
available.
talking about. Oh,
I'm
really?
going to something at the Meadowwood Club that night on the
You're
17th.
being too genuine. You should have acted like you were going to come.
So you've been doing this, you've been in TV a long time. You've
Yes.
interviewed a lot of people.
Right.
Can I ask you, what are some of the more memorable interviews you ever
Well,
had?
okay, Frank Sinatra. I've always been a huge Sinatra fan.
Right.
Make it quick. I was introduced to Frank at 4 o'clock in the morning in Las Vegas on Easter Sunday weekend. I had seen his second show, saw Elvis's first show. Big night of entertainment, my friends.
Elvis and Frank.
Yeah, different venues.
And now you're here.
Yeah, this is what happens as you age. Anyway, so Jilly Rizzo introduced me to Frank, and Frank and I had a 10-minute eyeball-to-eyeball conversation. I told him my mother had been at Bobby Sox, or I told him how I snuck into the 500 Club to see him dressed as a busboy, and talked about his show that night. I said, "Do you still do cycles?" He said, "Yeah, it's still in the book." He knew that I cared about him. At the end of this conversation, Frank looks at me and says, I'm going to, which is my camera here?
You can be on that one
All
if
right,
you
this
want.
one. Frank looks at me and says, I'm going to be, this is Easter, April. I'm going to be in New York at the U.S. Theater with Ella and Basie in September. Maybe I'll swing by and do your show. And
Wow.
and instinctively, I put up my hands and I said, "Frank, I'm not asking for anything." And I meant it. And he pulls my hands down and he pulls me and he looks at me with these laser blue eyes. He says, Willie, I know you're not asking. Maybe I'll come.
And he
That's
did.
awesome.
And he did not just once.
Well,
right?
he'd never been on a talk show, so it made headlines. And then the other one would be, God bless the Twin Towers.
Right.
Philippe Petit, there was a documentary about this called Man on the Wire.
Sure.
Right.
walked between the Twin Towers. To me, is an incredible.
Bring Xanax. It's very good.
He was
movie.
on the show when I was auditioning for Midday. He was on that show, and the next morning, and I was so stunned by it. I said, "What, the height?" He said, "I could have been 10 feet off the ground or 1,000 feet off the ground. I was attached to that wire. I had no
so.
fear."
Yeah.
And I've never forgotten the look in his eyes when he said that. So that's two. There are a lot of stories, but
Toughest interview you ever did?
well, explain
Is this right up there?
who Lee.
Yeah, this
well,
is a
Oh,
Mr.
you're gonna say Lee Marvin?
explain who Lee Marvin is.
Well, or Tommy Lee Jones. They're the old school Hollywood guys that just didn't put up with any. Yeah, and again, there was a little drinking involved.
Lee Marvin somehow got in Paint the Wagon as a singer. He comes on the show to promote a movie after we do a live show. He comes on, he's going to tape a segment, and Lee Marvin is falling down drunk.
We have a similar story.
I'm talking falling down.
Right.
And he gets up, that was great. And it went on for about 2 minutes. He couldn't answer. And so what happened, Bill, was, and Pat, was his PR people just let him out of the studio. And God damn it, the director erased the tape.
Oh,
No! You know how funny that would be in today's world to put that on TikTok.
We actually, I was Bill's producer in the Wayback Machine.
That must have been difficult.
Dear God, you have no idea. I still have stigmata wounds. They're just healing now. But
This will all come out in the trial.
But we had Peter O'Toole on the show, and we were supposed to have him on live. It was for a movie called Phantoms he was doing for Miramax or whatever.
Right.
And the publicist came in, I'm like, he is hammered. I'm like, this man's a legend. I don't want to have him on the air. So we set him up in another studio pretending we were live.
That's right,
And the minute the
downstairs.
camera went on, he straightened
Yeah,
up
yeah.
and was
There are guys like
was
that.
Richard
laser
Burton.
focused.
Richard Burton was doing Hamlet on a half a bottle of vodka. I mean, come on. But that's an amazing thing. God bless Norman Steinberg, who wrote My Favorite Year, one of my longest old-time friends.
love that.
And that was about
Yeah.
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 Welcome
the
to my
Hero
humble
Tool.
welcome to my humble chapeau.
Live.
My favorite line in any movie.
And live. I'm an actor. I'm not a movie star. All those lines are great. Mark Lynn Baker, My Favorite Year, a great film. Listen, here's why I want you to
I'm
stick
listening.
around.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk to a guy who's gonna be doing.
Hopefully
the
he'll be
next-
here in a minute.
Oh, he's not here yet?
He ain't here yet.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Vince.
Well, I'm out of material. so-
Martha Stewart, I was gonna bring Martha Stewart up because this guy
This
does
will be funny.
vintage tag sales. We do a
This will be
segment on the
funny.
show where we
Yeah.
actually tell you what
Yeah,
tag
there's
sales
we
are
have
happening.
a little still of Vince, and he was on the show
And here's Vince,
on
it is-
People Magazine.
It's a very little still. Can
It's a
we
very
make
little
that
still.
any bigger?
Plus, I can see my email, but I don't know how to make it bigger.
Okay,
Don't-
anyway.
All right,
Oh, there you go.
There we go. There. Oh, thanks,
Toggle
guys.
it. So,
Vince is right to the right of Martha.
yeah. It's
Anywho.
like 60 minutes. You
Oh,
go,
wow,
you go right
Martha.
in. So, yeah, so you have a little crush on Martha, huh?
Well, yeah.
She
I-
just turned this week, she just turned 82 or 3, right?
God bless
She
her.
looks amazing.
God
And
bless
she was on the cover of Sports, or she was
Well,
in Sports
Oh, on Sports Illustrated,
right?
she was on the cover, I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah.
They couldn't get Dr. Ruth.
I met Martha.
Oh, God.
I met Martha in the '70s. She had been a model. Her book Pies and Tarts, and I just thought this is a really beautiful, attractive woman. I've never dated her. I've been in her company many times. I've interviewed her several times.
Right.
On the Food Network, on my show Bill Boggs' Corner Table, I jokingly, cheekily proposed to her, right?
Oh.
And she said, I said, would the man you marry have to be a mogul like you, or could he just have a really good show on cable? She says, Bill, are you proposing to me at lunchtime?
Oh, that's.
Hey, what
The rest of the
restaurant?
story.
I love that. I love that show.
Jean Georges is
Oh,
on the
wow.
circle. Yeah. We were right after we got 3 stars in the New York Times.
Well, speaking
Hi,
of
I'm Bill
Martha,
Boggs.
I'm Vincent Manso. Hi, nice to meet you. I
Nice
know
of you
you.
to join us, Vince.
Well, you blame it on that Hamptons traffic. Everyone wants a piece of this place.
listen, this is.
I do.
This is the first weekend in August. If you're just flipping around, this is Weekend Live, the Hamptons now. And the show is live, and some of the guests have a difficult time getting here in the summertime. And we were just talking about Martha Stewart because you
Yes.
actually helped produce the thing that was on ABC, right? The,
Yeah. I was asked by her
in
to.
Connecticut, where they
yeah.
opened it. It was like a.
No, it wasn't Connecticut.
Oh.
It's at her house in Bedford.
Oh, Bedford.
Bedford.
Her home, her
Yeah.
estate, her
Yeah, we're
compound.
looking
Is there
Some
anything near
shots now.
Bedford other than Bedford?
I don't know. I've always heard of Katona, and I used to go visit a Rockefeller in Katona years and years ago. A guy that married a Rockefeller.
I thought it was a great song by Katona.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Anyway, here you are with Martha.
We try out.
Here I am with Martha. I love Martha. She's amazing. She just keeps recreating herself, which we all should learn.
We should all
And then
try that.
Joy
Because-
Behar, she comes to your sales.
She is
Joy's a
obsessed.
fixture at tag sales out in the
She's
Hamptons.
obsessed with me. She goes every weekend with me when she can.
Yeah.
She drives now though.
And
She says my van is too messy.
She brings Joan, who's the Joan Hamburg, or who's the other
from
radio
WABC.
woman?
Very good friend with
Yeah.
Joan. Yeah, she's wonderful. We had lunch at Poxy Bog.
Oh.
That was great. You know, Poxy Bog never changes like me. You know, I'm a vampire.
So we don't say tag sales out here. We say we're going to shop for vintage, right?
Or an estate sale.
Or an estate
Well,
sale.
yeah, it's estate sales. There are tag sales though.
Right.
When they want to just get rid of everything in their house that they've accumulated here in the Hamptons, looking like Hampton style. But I'm good at that. I love to sell and buy, and I've got great customers, and I'm always asked to help, move things out.
So there's a big flea market this weekend in Amagansett, or is it Montauk? Montauk or Amagansett this weekend?
Oh, she's in Amagansett this weekend. The Hampton Vintage Flea.
We have a full screen showing people where they're going to be.
She knows how to do it. She's the girl. She's
Now,
the
when you
one.
say
She's
she,
taken over.
There it is. That's out.
Kathy.
And they have. Tell me some of the stuff they have there.
Just it's all about vintage clothes and these followers that love
Yeah.
vintage style. There's a style. There's a recipe. There's a way they do it, and the jewelry and clothing and it's just great.
Is super expensive part of the recipe? Has
Yeah,
that stuff
it's-
gotten
it's-
kind of pricey? Has it?
Yeah, it's expensive, but you can always find a bargain there. She just does a whole event. She creates a thing, and people follow it, and it's really great.
Do you
And
go to
s-
other sales and buy things to resell at your own estate sales?
Of course I do. I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah, really?
Yeah,
That's what you do.
that's what I do. I
What's
don't
your-
sell air.
Have you had
I
an
s-
have you had an antique roadshow, kind of a discovery of anything that you?
I'd love to have one here. Just bring on the stuff and we'll
Oh,
tell
let's
you
do it.
about it. Let's do it
Well, you
sometime.
used to have a store in East Hampton. Yards.
Yes.
Wasn't you? Was Alexis part owner of that?
I opened it with Martha Stewart's daughter, Alexis, and she bailed out really early in the game, and I love her for that. And I continued it for 10 years or so. I think
remember
I
that
closed
store.
in 2013.
There was a Chinese food restaurant, and there
Right
was
next door. I didn't have to go far for lunch
And
or dinner.
Carissa's right there.
She was there. No, she wasn't there then.
She wasn't there.
The East Hampton Gourmet was there.
Oh gosh, that's
God, you
right.
could ask me
and a
about
little
anything,
bakery.
I'll tell
Oh,
you
that's
about.
the
That's
person
a
you're talking
Carissa
about.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
if people want to get good stuff, where can they go these days?
They could come to me. No, I'm on Manzo 690.
On Instagram.
Yeah, whatever it is, I can't think. They could find me, Manzo, on Instagram. Go to these events. There's one antique show left at Mulford Farms, and there's yard sales and tag sales constantly going on.
We talk about them here every week.
Yeah, we publicize them because we think it's so interesting, and one of the people who works on the show will comb them all, and she'll go, "There's something really funny for sale in Sag Harbor this weekend," and so we feature them, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to have you on. Now Martha's doing another big production in Montauk
that's
on the
kind
20th.
of not in Martha Stewart. No.
Yeah, no, that's
No,
what
no,
I,
no,
oh, I'm
that's-
sorry, I got bad
No,
information.
she's doing another Great American Tag Sale. And
But
everything.
not out here, not in the Hamptons.
No, but she misses it.
That's
Yeah,
what-
well, I spilled the beans
Patrick
earlier.
was saying
Vince
that
told us
she-
Martha misses the Hamptons.
She called me out of the blue like 2 Fridays ago, and she was going to some. Actually, it's my tire store in East Hampton that turned into a very fancy store.
Right next to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
The
They don't pay me enough to mention the name, but you go if you want. You have to do all kinds of what do you call that? Emailing and stuff before you can get in. You have to register.
all right.
I just remembered something. You asked me before, Martha Stewart is in the book.
Oh.
In the Palm Beach thing, there's a thing about Martha Stewart producing a special, Christmas in the Everglades. That's the goal.
Oh, that's a great.
The book is Spike
Spike
Unleashed.
Unleashed.
And,
Love it.
So, which Hampton has the best sales?
You said the magic word was Sag Harbor. You know, you
Really?
go where there's
Yeah.
mucho sophistication, you know,
Yeah.
where people have style. And I don't know, it's like Sag Harbor has its own aura around it.
I think it's the most approachable,
It is, yeah.
most natural, and again, like East Hampton has, geez, Valentino, Gucci's.
Right.
When you see visitors taking pictures of stores,
Mm.
you know that,
Isn't that odd?
yes, but you know.
The Chanel store, people go out there and doing selfies, and it's
No, it's okay,
bizarre.
if they want the picture, it's fine, but what does it say about the vibe, you know? And talk about authenticity, but I love Sag Harbor for its authenticity. We're going there, we will be going to the play tonight, actually.
Oh, the Steve Gutenberg play, is
Yeah.
that tonight?
Gutenberg,
Yeah.
in
Yeah, that's
Sag
on our,
Harbor.
we'll get to it
Wonderful,
eventually.
yeah.
It's on our list
And
of things to
that's
talk about.
after the library thing that you and I will be doing.
Right.
The library thing is, once again, at East Hampton Library, you're gonna be signing books as well?
If anyone
Gonna
wants
read
it.
a little from it or
you
not?
know.
Are you a read a passage author or not so much?
Yeah, you know, I think I might read something about Sol, the old Swede Silverman, and what happened on his date. You've only read the parts of the book you're in, I'm sure. This is what, you give a book to somebody, by the way.
You know McCuddy
Bill
well.
Maher, you're in the book. Really? Where? That's it. They look at it for, oh, okay.
Do you see a lot of Bill Boggs books at these yard sales?
I'm gonna be looking for him now, 'cause I want one, because I like his jacket, that pistachio color. It's making me
green screen in a
hungry. I'm getting
Yeah, I
hungry.
wanna see what that looks like.
Pistachio's my favorite ice cream.
Is it?
All right, so
Okay.
of
Wait.
all,
I wanted to talk about the fireplace project. You're all going places. I
okay.
want to, you know, I found it, and it's been there for years. It's called the Fireplace Project. My friend Etzel used to be in the store, yard sale before me. He was an exercise guy. What did they call that, aerobics?
Yeah.
fitness.
A trainer.
Fitness,
physical trainer.
yeah, and
You
it
mean
was,
the art gallery, the Fireplace Project?
yeah,
I was there.
what a
we
group
got
of
it.
people
I love it. It's
afterwards.
such a nice place to display art.
So guys, what's
But it's
happening
Old
there?
Hamptons,
we have a full screen if
Really?
you wanna
Yeah.
take it.
Old Hamptons,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Old Hamptons, it's out in the Springs.
And I felt comfortable
Is it?
there, and
I live-
I like
I
him.
live in Springs.
lot.
I went up there 5-6 days ago.
Yeah, it's
And
wonderful.
there's something showing there right now?
He's gonna, yeah, he's having something,
That's
I
what the
think
Fireplace
this
Project
weekend.
is?
Yeah. I
Okay,
went
this
a few
weekend?
weekends when this was there. That's Mark Sabin.
Right.
He was an old customer of mine. He's old, but he's not old in his mind.
Right.
I mean, he's fantastic. And Etzel rediscovered his paintings. They were sitting
They
in
look
warehouses
fabulous.
when I saw them. And now look at them. I mean, they're fantastic.
Good.
They have a outsider kind of wonderful look to them.
And you like ARF too, you said.
I like Arf a lot. They feed the dogs and the cats, you know.
Yeah, but
They
the
have a-
furniture and
and they have
the,
a.
Oh, they have treasures there. Oh, by the way, yeah, Arf is another one.
yeah, ARF, you gotta go.
What's
Arf,
the women's
yes.
one in East Hampton that's?
The
Oh, the
LVIS.
shelter. No, there's the shelter too
No,
in
but what-
Bridgehampton.
The main street one.
LVIS, yes, yes.
That's like being on Rodeo Drive.
Gucci shoes.
I know someone who got a Brunello
wait.
Cucinelli sweater there.
Oh, yeah, it's all there.
$1.2 million.
Well,
Yes.
there's a thing that's happened there. They've realized they have expensive goods there, and they used to be like $5 back in the day.
Thank you.
But I guess everyone going in there all the time, they're now.
Right,
big
you
brands.
didn't, that's why you didn't see me getting excited about it.
I was in TJ Maxx yesterday. Does that
This
count
is,
for
this is
anything?
not a board planning meeting or a town council meeting. This
Yes.
is Weekend Live, the Hamptons Now.
That's right.
And
I
where
love
did we
it.
lose control? We're having a great time here today with
Yeah.
our guests. This is our sit-in co-host,
Illustrious.
Bill Boggs, who's written a book. And I want to get Boggs over to read the weather one last time because
With
he's
this-
got the.
with this
he's got
going
the-
on.
He's got a
he's
green
got the green
jacket,
jacket
Bill.
on, and I think he's gonna look.
All right,
naked,
there we
so
go.
Wait
I'll
a
send
minute,
him
this
over
is
there.
Bill Boggs. I just realized who it is.
Oh, gosh.
Bill.
We like to
Mr. Mark-
surprise people. Come around this
Just
way, Bill.
realized.
Come here, Bill.
Wow.
Wanted to also tell
Vince,
you.
why don't you move out of the way? I love- okay.
While he's going over there, want to remind you that 6 East End chefs are competing against 6 Manhattan chefs in something.
Dan's Grill
Dan's-
Hamptons
oh,
at the
Dan's
clubhouse
Grill-
this weekend.
Grill Hampton, throw that up.
We can throw that up if
We
you
can
want.
have, we can have Bill in front of Grill Hampton.
Oh, I don't think that's good. to put
Maybe not gonna work.
Stand.
There he is.
Hey,
Oh, look, he's the invisible man.
okay.
Billy got 30 seconds, read the weather.
Weekend Weather is brought to you by Douglas Elliman Real Estate and by the Melissa Cohen Group with William Ravis Mortgage. More at ravis.com. All right, Saturday, high in the low to mid 80s. Mostly sunny, humidity 67%, UV index 9 out of 11. Sun's up at 5:48. I will not see that. Sets at 8. Overnight low, 63. Sunday high in the low 80s. Going to get hotter. Partly cloudy and humidity at 57%. UV index again 9 out of 11. Put on the suntan lotion. I recommend Coppertone 15. I'm sorry. The other stuff is too heavy. It feels like wax. Let's see, sun up, sunset. You know what's going to happen. That's your weekend weather from Douglas Elliman and the Melissa Cohen Group with William Ravis Mortgage.
That's our show.
I love being on this.
Steve,
I'm gonna go take the tip.
We're going to try and get Steve Gutenberg on the show. He's at the Bay Theater in
Street
something
Theater.
called the Gutenberg Bible.
Opens tonight.
Yeah, it's all weekend, actually through the 27th of August. Thanks for
Guys,
joining us.
thank
We
you.
do it live.
Thanks to our crew.
I'm
Thanks to
invisible here on
everybody.
the show.